Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. Today, we are going to speak about the potential of drones and cluster collaboration in the aerospace ecosystem. And in order to speak about it, we have an excellent panel of speakers, starting with Krzysztof Krystowski, Christina Eisenberg, Mikołaj Garkowski, and after hearing them, we will open the discussion for everyone. It's important to say that this session is being recorded. We will share it later in the channels of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus and also in the channels of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. So if you remain with us, you are agreeing with that. And this is all for as introduction. I don't know if we have Krzysztof with us or not yet. I see. Okay. Perhaps we could take some. I don't know. Christina, do you feel as starting with your presentation?
Yes, no problem. Yes, no problem.
Okay.
I can start.
I think so, because we don't know anything about Krzysztof. I hope he will join us soon. Okay, but I am sure that he will not mind. Thank you, Christina, for joining us. Christina Eisenberg from CURPA's Clusters, the European Drone Cooperation. I'm giving you now the presentation right, Christina.
Thank you. So, do you see the presentation now?
Yes,
Okay.
not in full screen mode yet.
Just 1 second. Okay, now.
That's perfect now.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And warm welcome to you, all of you, and very thank you for the chance to say a little bit about European Drones Cooperation, only a small part, and otherwise something about drones, and especially in Germany. I have to inform you that I have to left this conference at 9 o'clock. I'm so sorry, but I have a date, a meeting date far away, so I have to go with a car. So first of all, what is EDC? EDC is a cooperation. We started 2018 with cooperation with the EAAC Denmark, and we discussed a lot about also other European organizations who are handling with unmanned systems, drones and other unmanned systems. So we had a meeting at the CURPA's annual conference in June 2019, and we signed an agreement between organizations from Denmark, from France, Germany, and Poland. And now we have also partners from Spain, Belgium. So we have 8 organizations from 6 countries who are involving in the EDC. What we are doing is we would like to discuss about you with unmanned systems. We have meetings, we organize several conferences together, and we also are active in several projects, and we organize projects together at the EDC. We have a website integrated in CURPA's in the moment. We have many informations about our activities and projects, and we have regular video conferences. So this is only about EDC. Perhaps you know it, otherwise you can get this presentation after, so no problem. So now about EAAC unmanned systems in Europe, especially for me in Germany. We have unmanned systems in several parts. So we have unmanned systems in the air. CURPA's is an organization who started with unmanned systems in the air in the year of 2015. You see on the right side one of our partners. It's a life-saving organization, water saving, but they use also drones in the air. On the left side, you have a drone-based system For fire engineering, it's not autonomous system. It's a cable-bounded system, but it's highly automated. So if you take it into a situation sending very not so easy, it's a highly automated system. So, and in the middle of the screen you see underwater drone, and one of our partners, Frank Potthast, and he is working with underwater drones. So you see all the unmanned systems in the air, on the ground, and in or on the water. What can you do, in our opinion, very good with drones in the air? You have firstly the UAS market inspection. I think this market is very, very good in the moment, also to earning money. You can inspect all the roofs. You can inspect very exactly, and you can inspect all the things. If you have the programs after to work with, each year the same. So the next thing is you can digitalization is very important for using of drones. On the left side, so you see another sort of a drone. It's not a rotor drone, it's another sort of drone. And on the right side, you see the digital twin for coal mining. And this is another part you can do with drones in the air. For us in Corpas also, and in cooperation with our EDC partners, is also the topic agriculture, because with drones you can do a lot of things. And in this part I would show you something. This is you take little drops down with a Schlupfwespe in Germany, and this is something you need for Maiszünsler. I think you have the same experience in whole Europe to this. So now we would like, and at the invitation I see a little bit that we would like to discuss about UAS using also in the part of Corona. So this is one German project together with Volocopter, and you see now Volocopter with the ADAC Luftrettung. So this is unmanned flight systems for life protection, to go with a doctor or a medicine from one to transport a medicine, and also another person with Volocopter. This is not in real working in the moment. They are doing experiments in this case. So what is working in the moment in Germany? You all of you know the company Matternet, I think. Matternet is also a drone producer. So you see the drone at the Labor in Berlin, and they now make experience in Berlin in an urban region to transport corona probes and corona tests with a drone from one clinic to another clinic in Germany. And I would like to install a really drone flight way from one clinicum to another clinicum. So the next one is also in the clinicum in Germany to transport corona tests with another sort, a little drone. So what I want to say you is that also in this situation, corona drones are useful for transportation of several parts of probes and tests and whatever. So I have 10 minutes left. So let me show who is member of the EDC. And Christoph, you are here now, and hopefully you can tell something about EDC from your part. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Excellent. I'm very short. Thank you, Christina. I see that we have with us Christoph. Welcome, Christoph. Sorry,
hello, everybody.
We started without you. Hello. Happy to see you with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you.
Before continuing with the rest of the panelists, I think that Christina needs to leave us. I don't know if there is any question or comment from the rest of the attendants to Christina? Not immediately. Okay. Thank you very much, Christina, and congratulations for the work that you are doing. Great examples of what can be done through collaboration between clusters. So, Christophe, welcome. Would you introduce to the topic of today?
Yes, I have a short presentation also of my cluster. Can I share screen with you?
Yes, I'm giving you now the presentation rights.
Okay. Do you see my presentation now?
Yes, not in full screen yet.
Why not? Now it's better.
Now it's perfect. Thank you, Christophe.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that Christina made a great introduction about entire cooperation of drone industry, of drone clusters in Europe. So let me add a few words from a perspective of my cluster, which is Silesian Aviation Cluster from Poland. My cluster is generally focused on aviation. So you can see that we are not maybe very big, but not small cluster with over 85 members. Our companies employed more than 15,000 people. Where we are located? You can see that we are located in the most industrialized part of Poland, which is called Silesia region. The biggest number of clusters is located also in this region because it's very industrial one, close to the border with Czech Republic. And what is specialization of our cluster? You can see that there is manufacturing of aero parts, of components, but mainly production of light aircrafts, of composite materials, and UAVs, which came naturally from this specialization of light aircrafts production. And composite materials as well. Why it doesn't work? Sorry, I have some technical problem okay. Now drones. We gathered more than 10 members from our 85 members. 10 of them are focused on drones production and drones R&D organizations. The most important member of our cluster from this R&D point of view is Institute of Aviation from Warsaw. Which presentation we will have next after me. We have also strong Polish producers of drones. Some of them are very much involved in military area. What is also important that our region has been considered by Polish government as a place, as a region in Poland in which Drone Valley will be established. What means Drone Valley? As a kind of place of excellence in drone production, development, research, but also not only things related to production of drones, but also drone service. So we have an area in our region which was decided to be the place which is now called Central European Drones Demonstrator, which is a testing area for usage of drones not only outside of cities but also in urbanized areas. And we have very strong partners in this initiative. This is a local metropolis of Silesia region. but also Civil Aviation Authority from Central Civil Aviation Authority from Poland, Polish Air Navigation Service Agency, and Ministry of Infrastructure. Very, very strong partners, and cluster is involved in this project. What is the main aim for us is to try to develop not only drones and drones technology, but generally speaking, local ecosystems and local ecosystem and local environment for development of this very new sector, which includes also R&D works, but also startup promotion, looking for funding of startups, etc. And also this initiative, as I said before, is very much focused on R&D and naturally on international cooperation. Our members of our cluster now are very much involved in one project, European project from Horizon 2020, which is now going to be launched, and the leader of this project is Institute of Aviation. And I think that Mikołaj will say a few words more about that, but we are proud that that cluster also is related to this international project. What about international cooperation? We have established, we were one of funders together with Christina cluster from Germany, Kurpas. We were funders of European Drones Cooperation, which initiative, which was just presented by Christina, but also Silesian Aviation Cluster is a member of European Aerospace Collaboration Platform, which has also an interest in the drone market. Just for some months, we have opened in this organization a working group for drones. What is very important for both European organizations, which are working very closely, and members of the European Drones Cooperation are sometimes also members of European Aerospace Collaboration Platform of EACP. What is important for all of us is that we really need very much international or European projects supported by EU funds related to drones. As our experience is, the numbers of projects related to drones are few and not sufficient. This support is not sufficient, taking into account that this is very fast growing but still small sector of the market. So that's from my side briefly. Thank you very much, and I'm really very open for our discussion in the next part of the meeting, and now willing to hear from Mikołaj from Institute of Aviation. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome, Christoph, and congratulations for everything that you are doing and also for the project that you mentioned. So now, welcome, Mikołaj, sorry.
Mikołaj, hello.
Sorry for the pronunciation.
Not a problem.
I will improve, sorry. Okay, so should I give you the presentation rights?
Sure, so
let me try now.
I think I'm still not a presenter.
You have the role now. You should be able to share your screen. Could you try? If not, we could share your presentation from here, from my computer, if you prefer.
We can do this. I had some movies which will not work in the PDF, but
okay.
well, the share screen button
Antonio,
still doesn't work.
sorry, could you please check that's the right name? It starts with Jarkowski.
It starts with J, J-A-R. Yeah.
Sorry, I gave the presentation right to the another person. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Nina. Now, yes, perfect.
Okay, but it's still not in a presenter mode, I think.
Yes. Now it's perfect. Go on, please.
Okay, so thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak here. I'm very excited to be able to share my presentation with you. I'm Mikołaj Jarkowski. I'm the director of Center for Unmanned Technologies at Institute of Aviation. I would like to say that when I was offered to give the speech today during the webinar, I had a vague idea on how to combine ILOT's activities in the area of unmanned technologies and the role of clusters in recovering from coronavirus pandemic. However, then I made the list of our national and international activities and combined them with the recommendations of European Expert Group on Clusters. And it somehow became clear how clustering can accelerate the transfer of technologies into market, and how international cooperation with startups and SMEs on R&D is a key factor, as I see it, in accelerating the growth. So I'm gonna focus on a couple of activities that that we are involved with. It's gonna be the activities at the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic, when we developed technologies to act against the pandemic. I'm going to talk about the recommendations for Polish UAV market and what can we get from them, and then the international cooperation within EAAC, which is the Association of European Research Establishments in Aeronautics. A couple of words about the Institute of Aviation. We are 95 years old this year. That will be our anniversary. We are very active in three sectors, which is aviation, space, and unmanned technologies. What we do, we develop technologies, of course, and we focus on the larger projects to develop technologies that we can sell as consulting services, parts of the big project to sell them as technologies, and we develop technologies to TRL 6 or 7, but that's it. As an institute, we cannot do more without cooperation with SMEs and without the market. We need the manufacturer to get the technology into the market. So at the beginning, going to our activities, at the beginning of the pandemic, we came up with the technology which is basically artificial intelligence for monitoring of social distancing behaviors. And here you can see the movies. So copy drone, as we called it, it's not a drone itself. It's a piece of software that could be combined with the cameras installed on the drones to monitor if people gather in groups, if they maintain social distance, and as you can see in the movies, if the group of people is detected, they are marked in the red square. And then we realized that having a technology which is ready to use is one thing, and convincing public services to use it is a completely different story. And here I can really link it with one of the recommendations to use clusters to initiate a new and to reinforce existing public-private partnerships. Because what we need here, if we have the technology, we need the manufacturer, a company, to offer the service, to offer the product, and to be able to implement it to the market. Okay, that's one of our products. We also develop in the field of unmanned technologies. We have two main projects, which is drone interception system for civilian applications is one of them, and the other one is a cargo drone of maximum takeoff weight up to 600 kilograms and a payload of 150 kilograms. But this is the pure R&D, so I'm not going to focus on it right now. I'm going to move to the report, to the recommendations for Polish UAV market, which was published by Ministry of Infrastructure and the Polish Economic Institute in February 2019. And one of the things it contains is a SWOT analysis of the market with recommendations, which are still valid right now and particularly important in terms of European Recovery Fund. So, of course, the report is quite broad and thick. I will not talk about it as a whole, but the important outcomes that I find very interesting right now is part of the SWOT analysis. And what was written there is that we have significant high-tech know-how scattered between multiple small, medium enterprises and startups. We have numerous startups which are very ambitious in terms of the technologies they develop. And the entrepreneurs are actively looking for business opportunities and possibilities for commercialization of their technologies. But as SMEs and startups, they are not strong enough to deliver ready-to-use system for, say, urban air mobility. So in fact, what we need to do is to cooperate on both national and international level. And I see clusters as places where those SMEs can team up and cooperate on the technologies that they have. They have pieces of technologies of the system which could be implemented to the market. So really, what we need to do is to initiate cross-sectoral, interdisciplinary, transitional collaboration between the companies, and that's one of the roles of the clusters, according to the recommendations of the European expert group. I think Krzysztof mentioned it shortly in his presentation. So we are the member of Central European Drone Demonstrator, which helps SMEs demonstrate their technology, check if they are ready for market implementation, and it also acts as a regulatory and technology sandbox. What I'm showing here is that we have different modes of transportation. We have ground mode, which is train, bus, car, and up in the air we have passenger aircrafts. But the new area that this technology and regulatory sandbox focuses on is the urban areas in the airspace, which is not controlled right now by the civil authorities. And the main goals of this Central European Drone Demonstrator and the institutes and companies that create this drone demonstration is, of course, transition to new regulations, introduction of geographical zones for unmanned flight, involvement, which is very important, of different stakeholders, especially SMEs, which want to find get funding for their technology to show their capabilities and get into the market. And they can also team up through the demonstration that they make in Central European Drone Demonstration and attract funding opportunities. So we want to make the testing possible. We want to make sure it's safe, and also we support new and complex operations. For example, pilot projects for medical transportation in relation to COVID-19, but not limited to COVID-19 use of right. So next step for us, it's involvement of the cities, testing of new applications, and what we want to do is to clear path for what's called urban air mobility. As Institute of Aviation, we are a very active member of Association for European Research Establishments in Aeronautics in different programs, both in Clean Sky. We are in the preparatory group of Clean Sky 3, and in Future Sky. And also our director, Paweł Stężycki, is the vice president of ERIA this year. One thing that we were actually very active in during our ERIA actions is ERIA Vision Study, which was created by NLR, namely Ligia Poletti, and the idea was it was initiated in 2019, so before the pandemic, but it became really important during the pandemic. The goals of this vision study is to share ERIA's vision, which is the common vision of European research establishments across Europe, and to share it with external stakeholders, help enhance cooperation, is to form the basis to support policymakers at national and European level, to motivate ERIA and its members to work together on common ambitious goals, including also decarbonization and circular economy and digital transformation. And we also wanted to engage with the general public, particularly on societal needs and sustainability for aviation sector. And what was done during this vision study, we gathered as all institutes and a lot of researchers were very active. We came up with different scenarios how the whole aviation sector could develop in the next 30 years. And we developed 4 scenarios from Mad Max, where we basically live in the very fractured and conflicted world, and aviation is a luxury just for a few, to the most optimistic scenario, which we called Optimizing Together, where the whole world is harmonized and companies and institutes and countries cooperate with each other to make the world more sustainable. The other international activity that we are very active in is Future Sky, which I mentioned before, and that's the initiative which focuses on thematic pillars, and they are safety, quiet energy, security for aviation, circular aviation, and where we are very active is urban air mobility. So this is the theme which is co-led by DLR and Institute of Aviation. And one of the projects which we won as Institute of Aviation within Future Sky UAM is Assured UAM, which also Krzysztof mentioned. So this is basically acceptance, safety and sustainability recommendations for efficient deployment of UAM. And I kind of lost my screen. So the main objective of the project is to provide cities with knowledge concerning deployment of UAM services and definition of necessary standards and recommendations. So here also we can say that this is in line with one of the priorities of the clusters, which is to initiate new and to reinforce existing public-private partnership, because for UAM services, we need to have both local authorities involved, civil aviation authorities, and the companies which develop technological solutions. This project has 4 main pillars, which is the definition and development of operational concepts, foresights for UAM deployment, recommendations and standards, and city project supports for 3 European localizations. As you can see here, we have partners from basically all over European Union, where ILOT is the leader, and the very active partners are CIRA, CEA from Portugal, NLR, Isnova, and we have the cluster from Italy as well. The 3 localizations in which we are going to support the implementation of UAM services is Metropolis in Silesia, GZM, is Bari and Porto. And at the end of the project, we want to have guidelines on UAM deployment available in 8 languages. So it includes knowledge base, foresight, set of standards, conclusions for cities and local authorities, and of course materials and tools enabling learning and exchange of knowledge for UAM stakeholders. So it involves SMEs, it involves clusters, it involves local authorities, city authorities, civil aviation authorities. It's a very broad project. And what we do to make sure that everyone is involved, from what I mentioned before, we have extended advisory board. And this is the main project body gathering experts from numerous domains affected by the process of UAM deployment. It represents basically UAM community, and the reason for having this extended advisory board is to make sure that all stakeholders have their input to what we recommend at the end. We want to consult the main project results and guarantee robustness and appropriate quality for proposed solutions. So here, please feel free to join the advisory board. You can contact me directly if you are interested in becoming the part of this project. I think I'm running out of time. I just covered a couple of activities that we are doing in the Institute of Aviation. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm open to answer them now or later.
You did excellently. It's no problem with the time. So in fact, we are very good on time for an open discussion now. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. And now the floor is open for everybody. Who wants to comment, share, challenge? I don't know, contribute. We are speaking about drones, and we are speaking about the future of the drone industry and what clusters can contribute on it. We are not only speaking about COVID, you know, because we are looking now for the recovery phase of our economy, the recovering and the growth. Okay, so we are free to speak about that also.
I have a question to the speakers. One recommendation or one clear need that is stated is that, okay, we need to use clusters to connect the different SMEs in Europe and the startups. And what does the cluster landscape for drones look like? And do we mostly talk about aerospace clusters, or to which other ecosystems does it relate? For example, Christina gave the example of agricultural use of drones. So do we need to connect with agricultural clusters as well? And how does this landscape look like?
Antonio,
Yes, please,
may
Christoph.
Yeah, it seems that I am quite well informed about this subject. As it was presented in my presentation and Christina, we have now one European organization of clusters which are involved or focus on drones activity, which is EDC, European Drones Cooperation Initiative, led by German Kurpas with by Christina herself. So there are 6 or 7 clusters now. 2 from Germany, 1 from Spain, 1 from Poland, 1 from Belgium, and 1 from Denmark, and 1 from France, which are involved in this initiative. We have prepared one project together, which was submitted in the last recent call. Unfortunately, we lose. We were not awarded, which is we are sorry about that. We will try to do it once again. The other organization I mentioned is EACP, which is organization consists of about 45 European aviation clusters, but those clusters are not specifically focused on drones, but some of them are. So we have this new working group, one of 5 or 6 working groups inside EACP, which is devoted to focus especially on drones. And in this working group, we have additionally, because we have almost all those clusters I mentioned, which are involved in European Drone Cooperation Initiative, but there are also some additional clusters which were mentioned, for example, by Mikołaj in his presentation, because there are 2 Italian clusters which are very much focused on drones. There is additional cluster from Belgium, from Ireland, if I remember. So the network seems like is during establishment. So it has not been established yet, because this is very new industry, and we try to know each other, but we are still in the process of this matchmaking of clusters. Just to tell you that EDC was established by us and colleagues from Germany 1.5 years ago, which is really very fresh. Generally speaking, everything is very fresh regarding this this market. What are our expectations as a drone market players? We expect more support from European funds. I know that this is difficult because the problem is we are our clusters has members who are involved in the drone industry. Generally, those members, that it was mentioned by Mikołaj in his presentation, generally, and this is the same in Poland, the same in other countries. So generally, there are SMEs or startups. So big group of very small companies from which majority are beginners or rather focus on R&D, on development phase, not having a final market product. This the same is in Germany, the same is in France. Maybe only on military area the situation is different. So from this perspective, for European organizations, for COSME, for others, maybe we are considered as not mature enough to be supported. From other side, this group of companies has to be supported to grow. So if we consider as the European Union, if we consider that this is important market of the future, which is, and we would like to, as Europe would like to be a player in the world, to compete with US, to compete with Israel, to compete with Korea, China, etc. So we should consider some support in advance today, even if the network is very fresh, even if members of this network are not strong enough sometimes to deliver very mature projects. So I think that this is something our society should rise as a problem and should ask for support from European institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph, for your description and for all the activity that you are doing for promoting this. In fact, what could be called a Eurocluster on drones, no? It's the idea. Any comment, any question from the rest of the audience?
Yes, Antonio, I'd like to make a question to Christoph very quickly. It's about drones. When we speak about drones, we speak about access to information, but at the same time, we need some regulation on this access in order to guarantee some privacy. How do you see this commitment between privacy and access to information that the drones allow? Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen in the meantime that Mikołaj would like also add something, so maybe he could be more professional in answering also this this question. Generally speaking, there is a lot of things to be done in regulation part of drone industry, because all our countries, we are beginners also regarding regulations, and part of those regulations is related to air traffic management. And by the way, it seems that Poland is one of the leaders in Europe regarding that. We have PANSA UTM system, which works quite well, which is system for management of drone movement in the air. But another side of this regulations is also regulation related to information to database, etc. I think that this is something which is probably much better prepared, not because of the drone market, but because generally of ICT systems, which are much more mature than drones, which from this perspective seems like be just sub market of big ICT market. But I've seen that Mikołaj would like to add something, maybe smarter.
Maybe not smarter, but yes, of course, regulations is a big thing, and right now, as for today, we cannot really speak of autonomous flight. This is the future. Right now, also the technology is not ready, and it's not yet integrated enough to offer fully autonomous flight. Fully autonomous and safe flight, because we can imagine something flying from A to B if there is no obstacles on the way and if nothing unexpected happens. But that's not what happens in real life. And of course, we need to work on the regulations. We need to make sure that unmanned traffic is safely integrated into the manned airspace, and that's what's happening also within a shared UAM project. This is, of course, the low TRL thing, because we work on recommendations. We cooperate with the EASA here. We cooperate with the local aviation authorities and the regulators of airspace. And also talking about technology readiness level, I think it was NASA who came up with the term integration readiness level, because if we have a couple of technologies at high TRL, it still doesn't mean that the end product is high TRL, because it's missing some technologies. And it does not only refer to technology, because even if we have the technology which is ready and legislation and regulations are not ready, that means we cannot still implement this technology into market. That's one thing which partially answers your question regarding regulations. And the other thing I would also like to add regarding the first question for interdisciplinary projects and clusters which are not focusing on drones. So of course, if you think of not only urban air mobility but drones themselves, you can imagine a lot of applications. Agricultural is one of them, and if we have the clusters that cooperate cross-sectorally, we can exchange information better. We can know what technologies there are in agricultural business, in agricultural technology, and how, for example, drone technologies can be enabling technologies for them to use them to implement them into the market. And can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I got the information about the poor connection. So this is very important to cooperate on different interdisciplinary topics. And even if we think of urban air mobility, it's not only about flying multicopters or VTOLs in the cities. It's about delivering the seamless connections for passengers in urban, peri-urban, and interurban areas. So we have to cooperate with the technology providers for ground transportation modes, railway, buses, cars. This is all interconnected. So just staying within our drone sector is not enough to get the high quality technology, which is an added value for the end user. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, I see another question from Patrick. Patrick, would you share? Bonjour, Patrick.
Good morning, Antonio. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I just had a very basic question following your presentation. You have very clearly explained the challenge to involve the aviation industry and regulation and services provider. My question was related to logistics industry and retail. How these areas are taken into account in your development, and how do you see these areas as development sectors for UAV and drone in the future?
So I think that it is very important to have logistics sector included and retailers as well. I think that when we imagine urban air mobility, it will be first the delivery of goods rather than transport of passengers. It will be the first step. So yes, we have to cooperate with both institutes and operators of logistics centers, and that's what we are currently doing in our research network. We have Institute for Logistics and well, I don't know the full name, but they're focused on logistics, and they are a very active player in this urban air mobility sector. And if we are thinking of developing technology, we of course consult with them if it responds to the needs of logistics sector. We also get the market stakeholders involved, and we want to know their needs and how urban air mobility could be an added value for them.
Yeah, I think that let me add a few words. We consider also this logistic sector as a very important one, and we know that there are some companies also in Poland, but as I know also in Germany, which now provide the tests for supplying some small parcels, and this is they call this subject last mile delivery. Which is the idea to deliver parcels directly to receivers, even from some trucks, and then take from trucks by drone. But still there are tests. This is something new, and two barriers. One is still regulation. But the second is the product, because products are, I mean, drones, flying drones are sometimes they are those which are able to take a bigger payload, and I mean bigger payload is something more than 5 kilo, are relatively expensive. And what we are looking for, or this logistics sector is looking for, is some drones which are able to take bigger payload, but would be not so expensive as existing ones. Because the most popular drones are those which are with the payload maybe around 1.5 kilo. And for parcels delivery, it is not enough, considering the average weight of the of the parcel. So two elements together, regulation plus technology. But indeed, this is a very important part, subsector of drone industry, drone market. Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Who wants to contribute or share? Marek
Hello.
has,
Hello. Do you hear?
Yes, Christian. Welcome.
Yeah. Just a little comment from the sidelines. I'm your Nordic partner from Finland, and I just like to say thank you about this event and all the speakers. This is very eye-opening that what is happening in the Central Europe, and then we are all facing the same questions and doing the same stuff. So, like the one speaker said, the only contribution that we can have in the bigger scale is to work together in a collaboration inside the EU to combat these outer forces like US or China or whatever. So as a Nordic person, I'm very happy to see that there are many different clusters working in this same field inside the EU, and we need to start working more like contributing inside the different clusters together. So just one comment from the sidelines. Thank you.
Excellent, Christian. You could share your name and contact data in the chat if you want, and I'm sure that that could be of interest of some of the attendants, and I hope it could help you to link with this network of drones. Okay, and of course you are invited also to use the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. You know, we have with us today Veronica Muller from the ECCP, and she shared some information about it also in the chat. Okay, I was just going to propose to Marek to comment on the link that he has shared.
Yeah, as the vaccine is the most priority now, and still nobody thinks about drones at this moment. But we just reflecting what Christoph was saying about EU funding. I put the link. You need to monitor. There is now starting to be all these regulations being adopted. The calls will be launched now. You know, the second, the third quarter of the year, of different programs with different objectives. Nobody is better placed than you to see where you can fit. There's nobody, no omniscient planner, no Marek, no somebody who will tell you go for this program, for this program. No, you need to search for yourself where you can find your plans. What I can suggest is, first of all, smart specialization strategies at the regional level. This is the basics at the regional level for the operational programs of the European Regional Development Fund. So if in Silesia this is going to be a drone valley, then definitely I imagine this is in line with the strategy of the Silesian region. So they have money for any from equipment to training, for everything. From that they will launch calls. The other one is the recovery fund. So right now the Polish government, for example, I know is in the consultation. So there will be, if this is strategic for the country, they will definitely identify sources for financing. The other sources of financing is, of course, all the research horizon in terms of innovation, and this is from the supply research side, from European Research Council to the really demand side, and the European Innovation Council. For the integration of what the person from Finland said, integration at the EU level. The main tools which we will have is the interregional innovation investment from ERDF. this is going to be launch work program group soon, and then the idea is that in the third quarter of this year the call will be launched. We will have joint cluster initiatives. I want to launch the call in the fourth quarter. So all are from from different angles in the regional innovation investment. It's linked to the smart specialization areas of different regions together to come up. In the joint cluster initiative, it will be facing the challenges we have for resilience in particular, and the degree so and then there are good projects for transnational collaboration, and lots of is just need to look for and convince the sponsors. Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome, Marek. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's time to close. Thank you to everybody for your participation, and I hope to see you soon again in the next sessions of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. Thank you, and see you soon, I hope. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you,
you.
Christoph. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.